Hi everyone, thank you guys so much for joining me again for another video. My name is Kel, for those of you who are new here. CJ, my husband, is in the barber shop right now getting his hair cut, so I'm just kind of waiting and passing the time. I came to run errands with him and drop the kids off for school because it's one of his few days off during the week. So yeah, we're just hanging out today, running errands, doing things we need to get done, and I decided to make a video for you guys to follow up from the last video. So I'm gonna get right into it. In the last video, I talked about finding out that I have Hashimoto's. So basically, Hashimoto's, like I said, is an autoimmune disease, or autoimmune disorder. I don't like the word disease, to be honest. It's an autoimmune disorder, and I have mixed emotions about it. I'm not gonna lie, I cried, I was upset. I was mostly upset with myself because it's like, girl, how you let yourself stress to the point of an autoimmune disorder? Now, if we're being honest, I have a lot of unresolved trauma, anger, stuff that I'm dealing with in my adult years, that I probably need to go back to therapy for. Thank God I've healed from a lot of it already. I'm gonna say I'm about 80, maybe about 80% healed. But your body keeps score. I know you guys have probably heard that before, but your body keeps score. There are things that not necessarily have been done to me as a child, but things that I witnessed as a child that have caused there to be lots of stored up trauma in my body. And you take that into adulthood, and then you try to start a family, you get married, you have kids, and if you haven't dealt with that, it's gonna show up in some way or another. And I think that as an adult, I'm constantly trying to run from that trauma and not incorporate that into my daily life, not incorporate that into my marriage, my parenting, or anything like that. And in one video, you saw me talking to my dad, I'm sorry, you didn't see that. In one video, if you guys saw the video where I talked about forgiveness, it talks about me forgiving my dad for some of the things that I've witnessed him do within his marriage to my mom, or things that he's done to us as a family, or even in raising me. Just wasn't a good dad. I'm just gonna keep it 100. I had to forgive. But I had been angry, literally hated my dad for years and years and years. And so I had to finally let that go and forgive. And that happened last year. So, I mean, I'm 38. I'm 39 now. I just made 39 on December 3rd. I'm 39 now. So that's like a lot of years of anger and at some point hatred. And, and among other things that I've been through. But, people have been through worse. But for me, because of this constant need to prove to myself, I guess, you can do this, you're better than this, than what you perceive yourself to be. It's this constant need for perfection. It's this constant need to prove to myself that I can, and that I will, and that I am, that I'm going to be successful, that I am enough. I think a lot of times parents, what we don't realize is how we can impact our children. And if we don't heal, we'll give them something that they'll have to heal from. My dad has his own trauma, his own things that he went through as a child. And it caused him to be the way he is now, which impacted me and caused me to be the way I am. Even though I try not to take anything out on my kids or bring any of that into the way I raise them, it's stored up in me, and it's a constant battle for me to try to be the furthest thing from him as possible when raising my kids, or even in my marriage. But this constant need for perfection causes so much anxiety in my life and so much stress. And look at where I am now. I mean, now, granted, it's not the worst thing you could find out. Okay, I have Hashimoto's. There are people with way worse things than Hashimoto's. And honestly, as crazy as it sounds, I thank God that I found out when I did. And I thank God for it being that over maybe something worse. And maybe I needed that situation, this situation. I don't want to detach myself from it. Maybe I needed the Hashimoto's to tell me to slow me down. Maybe I needed it to slow me down and make me really stop and take a look at my life and where I'm at, and realize that it's so unhealthy for me and for the people around me to keep going the way I was going, and to actually take my health seriously, because I mean, what better way to get somebody's attention? What better way to like, at the point I was going, at the rate I was going, nothing else was gonna stop me or slow me down but my body. It didn't matter what anybody said. It didn't matter what I did. I just always felt like I wanted to do more, be more. It was never to prove myself to anybody else. It was never a competition with anybody else. I've always been a person like that, stayed in my own lane. I don't really care what the next person is doing. It's all about be better, do better, whatever. For me, it's like, it's me versus me. And I've always been my biggest critic, even down to the way I look. I've been my biggest critic for years. But I say that to say is that, like, it's fine. I say all that to say it's fine to be motivated. It's fine to push yourself. But at what point is it unhealthy? At what point is it detrimental to your health, to your mental health? And for me, I pushed myself so much because for years and years and years when I was younger, I could keep up with it. And I considered myself the multitasking queen. And I could do this and I could do that. Look at me, superwoman, yay. Except I stressed myself into an autoimmune disorder. Like, that's crazy. You know, God literally told me, I was like, I prayed and I was like, God, what do I do? What do I do? Like, what should I do this semester? I want to go back to school. I want to finish this and I want to do this and I want to do that. He told me to rest. He said rest. He did tell me to come back to YouTube. But aside from YouTube, he told me to rest. What did I tell God? I don't have time to rest. Finances, if you want me to rest, you gotta bless our finances. Like, we're not where I want us to be. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and my schedule doesn't align with CJ's schedule in order for me to get the type of job I want to get, to make the type of money I want to make. And he's all the way in New Mexico, 13 hours away, and we're not making the type of money we need. We have 4 kids, and we need this and we need that, and you're telling me to rest? I can't rest. How am I gonna rest? Are you gonna send me money for me to rest? I'm not even gonna lie to you. Those are my thoughts. These were the conversations I was having with God. I'm like, I can't rest, God. I have to hurry up and finish this degree so I can make money. I have to, like, I want to help my husband. Like, he is out here stressing himself, literally, like I'm stressing myself. Like, I'm like, he's graying early, you know, like, which is fine. Like, we in our 30s. I don't know if it's necessarily early. We almost 40. But I was just like, I could see the stress in his face. The gray is not a problem for me at all. I love a salt and pepper man. But it was happening fast. And I could see the stress in his face and the inflammation. And I was scared, and I just didn't want all of that stress on him. We're a team. So when God told me to rest, I was like, I can't. And what did I do? I took on a job. It was a part-time job, but I took on a job. I went back to school, and in the end, I started to have panic attacks for the first time in my life because I already had so much going on. Basically, I wasn't giving myself enough credit for what I was already doing. And, you know, like, I was a stay-at-home mom. I am a stay-at-home mom. Everybody who's been a stay-at-home parent at some point, I don't care if it was even just during a holiday break for kids. When those kids are home with you 24/7, if you're off from work and these kids are home with you 24/7, picture every day 24. Y'all, it's a lot. And it's like, I have 4. Like, ages 11, 8, 5, and 3. Those are different stages of different age ranges. They all need different things. They all have different personalities. They argue like there's no tomorrow, y'all. It's like, but you know, it was me at home by myself with the kids, and CJ was gone for like 20 to 30 days at a time. It was what we both decided on, agreed on. That was his schedule at the time, and that's what we felt like we needed to work. Now, when he took the job, we definitely thought it would be more money and more consistent money. But as with any oil field job, the money can slow down, the money can slow down, it can go up, the money can go up. It was just it wasn't consistent for us, and it ultimately wasn't what we needed. And when you factor in the cost of living out there, like the food, the place to stay, which the job didn't 100% pay for, they paid for some, it didn't, that money was, I'm trying to think of the words. The money wasn't worth him being away that long, 13 hours away. It just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it at all, and we were still struggling. So it was like, then I go from God telling me to rest, doing what I want to do. Y'all started having, like I said, panic attacks and having to sit down. Ended up having to drop the classes. Not that I couldn't pass them. Mentally, I just couldn't handle anything else on my plate. Normal, healthy me could have passed those classes, but I was literally on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Everything was too much. And then I had the kids crying about how much they miss daddy. I'm like, shoot, I miss daddy too. Shoot, I miss him too. Y'all, like, it was a lot, you know, just trying to be there for your kids, trying to be there for yourself, like, but my cup was empty completely. It was depleted. It was dry, not even a drop left. And I'm trying to be the best person I can be for them, the best mom I can be for them, trying not to repeat patterns, trying to heal, trying to, I don't know, all the while I'm stressing even more. And yeah, I could feel my body like telling me something's wrong. Like, I had so many symptoms. When looking back, there were so many symptoms. Like I said, the anxiety. I stressed about everything all day long. Every day I stressed about everything, like, for no reason. Everything felt overwhelming all the time. Then I would have moments where I was just down. I could never see the bright side of anything. Like, and that's not even my personality. Yeah, I used to be a little ray of sunshine, even when things were going wrong in my life. Like, I was just so optimistic. And if it was wrong at that point in my life, I used to always, like, just bounce back, because I felt like it's not going to be like this forever. You know, eventually it's going to get better. You know, and if plan A didn't work, then I went to plan B. Plan B didn't work, I went to plan C, D, whatever it took. Like, I figured it out. Like, I always figured out how to get myself out of a rut in the past. But this new me could not. Like, I couldn't see the bright side. I felt hopeless. At times, I didn't even want to be here. If you get my drift. I wasn't going to do anything about it, though, because I'm a coward when it comes to that. Girl, I was, or sir, ma'am, sir, boy, girl, I wasn't going to do anything about it. So when I felt that way, I just prayed. God, I know there's a purpose for my life. I know there's a reason I'm here. But right now I feel hopeless. I feel like a waste of space. I feel like I'm not the person I want to be. I'm not where I want to be. There has to be more to life than this. I know that there's more to life than this. This is not the type of life that I want to live. This is not even how I saw myself living. Like, then I would get angry. I would get so angry because why is this my life? Why am I not where I want to be? If I would have done A, B, C, D, if I would have done this, and this in the past, then maybe I wouldn't be here. If CJ would have just listened to me and we worked as a team, and then we could have done this differently. If the pandemic wouldn't have happened, like, you can't change what happened in the past. All you can do is focus on the present and what you can do going forward. But I couldn't see that. Like, whatever was going on with me mentally, I just could never see the bright side of anything. So I stressed even more. And I noticed changes with my body. Like, I was gaining even more weight in weird places. You know, in the past, like, I've been a bigger size, you know, like after having my firstborn son, and like, you know, but the weight would just evenly distribute. But like, I noticed like the weight, I was gaining it in weird places where like I never gained weight before. And I was like, this has to be hormonal. And like I told you guys, I had checked that before with my naturopath and my doctor. My doctor told me my hormones were fine. My naturopath was like, girl, your estrogen is high. So anyway, but I realized, you know, hormones were even more out of whack. I was gaining weight in strange places that I never gained it before. Body was shaped a totally different way that I wasn't used to. So I started wearing bigger, frumpier clothes to hide that. It got to the point to where I hated myself. I never wanted to go anywhere with friends because I didn't want to be seen. I dreaded school events because I didn't want to be seen by former classmates. Like, I live in a small town, a small city, and my kids go to school with like other high school classmates' kids. Like, every time, like, my kids are like, oh, such and such, my friend such and such, I'm like, I know their mom most of the time. But I hated being seen. I hated being out in public. I hid. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to see anybody, you know. Y'all, you want to know something weird? TMI, my left armpit would smell worse than my right one. Like, at the end of the day, my right armpit would probably be fine, but my left armpit, it was bad. And it wasn't like I was just walking around musty like all day long. Like, no. But at the end of the day, And this is with deodorant. Now, mind you, I do wear natural deodorant, but it's never been a problem in the past. And when I say natural, I mean no aluminum. Those are for health reasons. I can use it, but I prefer not to use the aluminum. In the past, it's never been an issue. Once my stress levels increased, my left armpit started to stink. Like, why was my left armpit stinking? I found out about that with the naturopath too. Like, I found out that, like, that's where your toxicity, like your toxic, you know, the toxins come out on the left side. Your emotions are on the right side. Your toxins come out on the left. I was having issues with, like, I guess my body releasing those toxins. My diet was a hot mess, and I have more than likely leaky gut. I believe I have leaky gut because we're trying to heal my gut right now. What else? I struggle, like I said, with breaking down my fats, my proteins, all of that stuff. All of that led to the stress, led to a lot of the issues with my gut, as well as the poor eating. The poor eating came from the stress. The poor eating was an emotional response to the stress, which made me eat worse, and then it became a habit. On top of that, apparently I had parasites. I'm on a parasite cleanse right now. I had parasites. I showed you guys that in the last video. That's a whole nother story. Apparently most of us are walking around with parasites and really should be doing a parasite detox probably twice a year. But that's that was my first parasite detox. That's interesting. It's very interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. I saw a few things, but yeah, I'm not inserting any pictures. I know that there are some people like me who want to see it all. I am that person. I'd be like, let me see the pics. I'm not showing y'all that pic. YouTube already took down my scalp scratching channel, talking about it was shocking content. I'm sure not gonna put some poop up here. So anyway, those are some of the things I was dealing with, and come to find out, about 99.9% of those things are related to the whole Hashimoto's diagnosis. So if you were wondering where I was going with all this stuff I was talking about, it's all related. The best thing I can tell you to do for your body is heal mentally and physically. If you have trauma, if you have built up anger, if you have built up emotions that you need to release, go to therapy. Go to therapy. Work through that. Go to God. Most importantly, go to God. He puts therapists there too for us to be able to talk to. Go to therapy. If your doctor is not giving you the answers you need, please find a naturopath, or have both. You don't have to wait. Have both. My naturopath is amazing. What else? Try to eat as healthy as possible. If you keep having those sugar cravings and you can't, might be time for a parasite cleanse. None of this advice I'm giving you guys is medical. This is just based on my own experience and what, you know, that the things that my naturopath and I talked about. As I mentioned to you guys before, she did give me like a diet plan that I could follow called the Kaufman diet, phase 1. I found it to be kind of strict, but truthfully, I might try it. I might try it for like at least 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, because I tried it. I thought it was kind of like hard, but I did notice some pounds came off. I'm down a good 10 pounds total. But yeah, you guys, I might try it again, because it's a good diet to start your body off like on the right track to heal. It helps your body heal from like yeast overgrowth, and it helps with I think mold, and I forgot what else, but it helps you. It's kind of like a head start, like a kick start, you know, to help your body heal. So anyway, I'm thinking about going back on that. I can post the link if you guys are interested in seeing what it is, but it's basically just kind of like an elimination diet, and then gradually you add some things back in. Now that I've given up gluten, I notice a huge difference in how I feel and how my face looks. Is not quite as inflamed, and the anxiety, like I said, is gone. The stress, I'm not gonna say I don't ever stress about anything, but for the most part, yeah, like I feel good. But I do need to focus on getting those numbers down. So in the next video, I'll probably continue talking about a few more things that I can do or that I'm thinking about doing. So when I say get my levels down, I'm talking about my thyroid peroxidase antibodies, which lets me know that my body is attacking my thyroid. Once I no longer see those antibodies, then I know that my body is no longer attacking my thyroid. The only way I can do that is changing my diet, getting the inflammation down, doing what I need to do to keep that from happening. I don't want to just get those numbers down. I want to completely go into remission. For Hashimoto's, whenever you no longer have those antibodies, they call it remission. So I want to get that into remission, and yeah, just live a healthier life and be able to share that journey with you guys. So if you guys have any questions, or if you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Please ask any questions that you may have, and I will be sure to answer those in the next video. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.